Hey guys, welcome once again to our Saturday edition of Let Him Run. And when I say this Saturday's edition is a special edition, I am not kidding. Today we're going to cover Gulfstream Park later in the podcast, but earlier in the podcast, meaning as of right now, we're going to cover Saratoga. We have a very special guest. My good friend Johnny Costin is joining us from Saratoga. Hello there, John.
Hey guys, what's up, Freddie?
Hey, look at that shot. Look at that shot, Johnny. Wait, oh man, thanks for making me jealous while I sit here in my bedroom in Hamilton, John. Appreciate that. Hey, yeah, there you go too. Excellent. Listen, so John, I want to take a minute and just let our viewers know a little about your background. John has been handicapping horses for 40 years. He's clearly one of the top handicappers in the country. He's been to 4 national horse racing championship qualifiers in Vegas. He's hit several big-time five-figure pick fives. In addition to that, he's been very close to some life-changing scores in a pick five at Kentucky Derby 2023, I believe it was, John, when you had Angel
and your
Empire.
Horse Mage beat me.
Yeah, I don't want to bring that up, John, but Mage, again, whoever had Mage, it was a luck. It was pure luck. But that was a tough beat. If there was ever a tough beat for a life-changing score, that was it. And then prior to that, I believe we talked about in 2021, the mandatory pick 6 at Gulfstream Park. You were live in the last leg and had the am I correct in saying you had the favorite in that leg?
The favorite with Paco for the lone ticket to scoop the whole jackpot in the rainbow.
Oh, well, you had the lone ticket and the favorite.
Yeah, and Paco.
And Paco. How did the race fall? How did the race fall? Was he close? Did he get a bad break?
3 bad breaks. He checked 3 times straight up.
Oh, no way. Oh.
If he gets through, he wins by 3.
Oh, wow. That's terrible. All right, let's move on. So before we get into the races, and we're going to do the late pick 5 at Saratoga, we'll touch base on races 7, 9, and 11, quickly go through a couple there. We'll spend a little more time with John's history and background on the races 8 and 10 and what I have to offer. But John, a little quick question. I know you recently retired as the director of golf at Mercer County Golf, and congratulations on that. And yes, sir. And how did you get into horse racing? What brought you into it? What was your entry zone, so to speak?
Probably when I was about 15, 16, going to Liberty Bell Park.
Okay.
See the Trotters on Sunday night with my dad, and just fell in love with it there. And then I hung out with like a little older crowd, and they would be going to Keystone Racetrack, which is now Parks, during the day, and then we drive up the turnpike and go to the Meadowlands at night. Before simulcasting, you had to be there live. So, double headers and stop for dinner in between.
Pre-simulcasting.
17, 18-year-old kid hanging with these, 35-year-old guys that are established, and I'm the kid in the group. And
that had to be a cool experience.
I cut my teeth. Yeah,
that had to be a cool experience. Well, we're not going to be the young guys hanging in the crowd anymore, John. I'm sure you already know that.
No, I know that.
So just a couple questions about things that I may look at and other handicappers may look at, and trying to get your perspective. How much value or do you hang your hat on when you look at buyer speed figures relative to a race? How much value do you put into those when you look at those numbers?
I use them a lot. I mean, that just gives me a quick comparison to horses coming from different places. That puts them in a perspective of how fast they're running against the competition that they ran at their track. So that helps with shippers for my perspective.
Okay, and so you can separate horses if you look at those buyer speed figures and think that if a buyer par, the horse that you might be looking at had no chance to get near a buyer par, he might be a throwout possibly if there's no other reason to like him.
Yeah, possibly that. I used to put more into it with the buyers, but now it's like not as much. There's other factors.
Oh, sure.
The workouts, which we've both talked about the workouts. Who's well meant that day, who's looking to run that day. Others are needing a race. So just knowing that information goes a long way. So buyers is just one of the many tools, and pace. Pace makes the race, like they say. And if you could figure out the pace, lone speed, which I know you love. I mean, and you kick away in the top of the stretch when it looks like they're going to get caught, and they're just got tons of energy and they kick away.
And they got a lot left in the tank. Yeah. And no doubt, I've learned to sort of temper a little bit of my lone speed angle. I still use it, and there's a couple horses in the sequence that we're going to look at that have some speed, and we'll talk about that. One other question before we dive into the races. So what happens if a trainer has, like, and it happens in a couple of the races we're going to look at, like he has 3 horses in the race. What does that do to your thought process when you're looking at those 3 horses entered by Todd Pletcher, Saffie Joseph Jr., et cetera? How does that manage into your thinking?
You got to just try to figure out, based on who the owners of the horses are, what their intentions are. If they're all different owners, the trainer's got a job to do to put the best forward for each horse particularly, and not worried about who he's running against. If it's the same owner with the same trainer in the same race, it puts a little different perspective. You'll see that later in the Whitney. They entered a rabbit for Sierra Leone. So the purpose is to just run with Mama's Gold and set it up for Sierra Leone to have a shot.
Perfect example.
So many times you see that's a perfect example of that. And rabbits have been around forever. So it's not like they're cheating the game or whatever. It is what it is. It happens all over the world.
Sure.
So, but the other scenario is when there's a hot horse with one of the trainers, and that's the talk of the town. How many times do you see the other Todd Pletcher, the other backer at 6-1, 5-1, come running up and win? It's just seen it too many times.
Again, it happens more than you think, more than we think. But you're right. I've seen it. You've seen it. We've seen it happen many, many times. No question about that. I see, John, you have your cheaters on. I'm about to put mine on so I can see what I'm doing here, which could be helped. Yes, there you go. Okay, I just had my 65th birthday a couple of days ago. I got to use my Medicare card. It's not much. That's bothering me a little bit, John, but that's okay. Okay, let's talk about the 7th race at Saratoga. It is a optional claiming 75K, 9 winners of 2 with conditions, 7 furlongs. Always an interesting distance, 7 furlongs. So, John, in this race, if we go through this and pick out a horse, there's a field of 12, pretty big field, but we'll scratch the 6, the 13, and the 14, and the 15 is in and also eligible. So, John, why don't you kick it off and give us your thoughts here on this Saratoga race 7?
All right. Race 7 is the mandatory mid pick 5. It's not the last pick 5. It's not the late one. This one ends with the grade $1 million Whitney. So it's nice to have, this bet coming down to the big race of the day.
Sure.
There are 2 more races, 3 more after the Whitney. There is a later pick 5. But this one here, I just love the sequence. There's a couple horses I really want to lean on, and others. This race here, the 7th race, 7 furlongs, tricky distance. I would use as many as you could here because I'm kind of against the 11 credit worthy. He's never been this far. This is the furthest he's going. He ran all turf races. He ran on the dirt last week because it was rained off the turf. He had an intention to run on the turf. He ran, lifetime best buyer in the slop. Did the slop elevate him? Did the dirt elevate him? Was it a off the turf field that made him look better? And he's going to be the favorite for Chad. But he's never been on a dry, fast track. He's never been this far. So
I'm with you 100% on that.
So I'm going to use him defensively, but my pick there is going to be the 1, Hold My Bourbon. I just think he's a good 1-turn horse. You put a line through the turf races, put a line through the 2-turn races. He is going to become running. The 2, Barksdale, he's going to be 30-1, but he's the speed. He's going to get out there, and I could see a scenario where he shakes clear.
He's the lone speed according to my figure. Yeah,
he's got a box. I won't be able to see it, but he's got a lone speed on my chart here too. So Echo again, the 3. I really like him. He hasn't had a dry track in 4 starts this year.
Exactly.
Here they come. There they go. I'll show you the race when they come by.
Yes.
There we go. Let's take a walk over here.
All right, let's take a look. What race we in here? Race 4, John? All right, we're going to get a live view here, live from Saratoga here as the horses come down the stretch.
You see him go by? I didn't see him. I don't know. But that was the 2nd race going into the 1st turn on the grass.
On the grass. Okay.
Right.
That's cool.
Then, let's see. Then Dilger to 5 is an honest, trying third, second. He's always there. Speakeasy is another one with Stuart Elliott. Christopher Elliott. Stuart got Smarty Jones last night in the 7th. Ran against some good ones there when he got beat, but he's always there at the 7th for long distance. And defensively with the 11. So I'm going to use about 6 horses here, and I got better opinions later on, and I'm going to try to catch a price and beat this 11. If the 11 wins and I go deep, that's a disaster for me. So I need to beat the 11 with somebody.
I don't blame you there. I kind of feel the same way. I kind of am leaning a little bit on the 3. Echo again. I like Johnny V getting on him for the first time. He's been working out really strong to come into this race. He had a 47-second workout on the 2nd, another 42nd on the 12th, and then kind of geared it down a little bit to get ready for the race. He's really, like you said, raced on some off tracks the last few times. His races, on 7 furlong, he came in 3rd and put up an 87 buyer, which isn't terrible for this field. And I think he's got a chance to close if some horses get away. And Johnny V is certainly a Hall of Fame trainer. Can't deny him that opportunity. I kind of like your 1 as well, but I think you're right. In the first leg of this pick 5, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't spread in that race to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, I would say my second pick is your 3. So 1 and 3 are, kind of our top 2 picks here. Trying to beat the 11 we know has, all the, in the world to win this race, but I got to beat him here.
Okay. Great. Okay. Let's move on to race 8, and we're going to talk a little bit deeper about this race. Very nice grade 1 4-star Dave. Super big race. Always have it there at Saratoga. It's a 1-mile turf race with a field of 10 and no scratches, John. So that's big that there was no scratches in this race. So how are we looking here?
My original, this is one of my picks of the day, the number 4, Think Big, Luis Saez. Second time at a distance. He was a sprinter, and he realized that, he can go 2 turns, and he excelled. And if you watch that gallop out, he just, went on forever. So the distance of a mile might be he might be a great miler. He might turn out to be the best miler in the, of our crop in the United States this year. Who the heck knows? But I'm going to give him another shot to run big there. And if you watch the last race when Donegal Momentum took a bad step and, basically wiped out horses and fell out of the race, and good thing Donegal Momentum turned out he's okay after that, just took a bad step on the grass.
He was, okay, but good.
Think Big was behind that. So if you go watch that replay, Think Big was behind it and had to let that, all go in front of him, maneuver around it, and then when he came running, it just was lights out.
That's awesome.
That's my topic.
I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards probably be a little less than 9-2 by the time the gates open, and his morning line is 9-2. Deterministic, the 8-horse, being trained by Miguel Clement, ridden by Kendra Caramouche, who I think is starting to get a little bit hot there at Saratoga. Had some nice winners. Ran a great race to win the Grade 1 Manhattan in Saratoga a couple weeks ago, and Kendra Caramouche was on then. I think he's going to get out in front. I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot of pace there that I can see to go with him. I mean, the 2, My Boy Prince, does have some early speed according to the time form US pace, early pace figure 123, but he's stretching out. He's done a mile and 16th in the past, but went to the lead and died and went to the lead and died. So I think he's certainly going to get out there with Deterministic, but I kind of think Caramouche is a good enough jockey, John, that, he'll know this speed horse is not a long distance speed horse, but is more of a sprinter speed horse. And I think if he can track him around and then start to go past him, I think he's going to hopefully get a chance to take this field all the way in this race. So that's my top pick, the number 8, Deterministic. And again, I like your pick as well too. It makes sense. Think Big has been on a lot of people's radars coming into this race. So there's no question that horse needs to be used in your pick 5 as well, John.
And yeah, I agree with your 8. I think he's going to get first jump. If he doesn't get the lead, Kendrick's going to be aggressive and put him out there near the lead. And like My Boy Prince is probably going to have the lead because he's coming out of all those sprint races. Deterministic should just sit a perfect trip, sitting second and get first jump on the dying speed. Then he's got to hold off, the big boys, Think Big and Johannes and Intellect, and Spirit of St. Louis is going to come running. So he might get the jump on him, and you're going to, have a nice run with him. And Kendrick is heating up.
Yeah, I've seen him win a few races. I was checking it out last week and this week coming up into Saturday's races. He's been running pretty well. So I think that's a big hub. And, we know Kendrick Caramouche came out of Philadelphia Parks. Isn't that where he
Yep.
started, John?
Yep. It started right there in Parks.
Yeah, yeah. So a quick side note before we get to race 9, John. Are you still into the horse ownership side of horse racing?
Yeah, we had 2 last year, and they both got claimed off us, and we didn't
Oh,
jump
really?
back in the fall and the winter.
Okay.
I don't like winter racing at parks. I mean, it's tough getting up in the morning and going to the track when it's freezing cold. And I like to go to the track when I got shorts and flip flops and you're watching the horses work out. So we did pick up a new one at the sale in May at Timonium. A 2-year-old baby, bred by Authentic. And then we got Nyquist on the mother's side. So we got 2 Derby winners, both sides.
Nice.
The breed is there. She's, first time to the track. Showed
Awesome.
a lot of ability and, pulled away from the other 3 workmates that she had, couldn't control her. Then as she's standing there, another young horse bolted towards her and she flipped the rider and, she went running off. So
wow.
a mile and a half, she's running around the track for 10 minutes and they caught her. Luckily, no harm, no foul.
Everything was okay. Good.
Off the track and everything was good. So gave her a couple days in the stall and then we said, you know what, let's just put her on the farm to let her grow up a little bit.
Sure, let her grow up a little bit.
Get her head straight and then we put her over there to calm her down. And
I got some, John, I think I know we both have some friends. Can we put some of our friends on a barn and let them grow up too? Do you think if it works for horses, would that work for people?
We got a list. Yeah, we got a list more than we could count on one hand. So we definitely want to put them somewhere to grow up.
We'll talk about that with our friends.
Yeah.
And the reason I brought up the ownership part was because in this next race, the Saratoga Derby Invitational, a mile and 3/16 on the turf, our good friend Tommy Tramontana's horse was supposed to run in this race, I believe, Carson's Run. He was examined. The vet looked him over a couple of weeks ago, Tommy said, and unfortunately he was unable to run in this race because that would have been a big stepping stone for an already very good horse who's won some graded stakes races already, John, right?
Absolutely. It was a good spot for him. It would have been a nice spot.
I would have liked to see the race.
Before we go on to
Good.
Before we go on to race 9, race 8, we didn't touch on the big favorite in that race coming from California. He's going to be 6-5, 7-5. So, he's going to be tough. He's 4 out of 5 at the distance. 8 out of 10 on the grass. Ran second or 2 lengths out in the Breeders' Cup. His only race that he ever lost off the board was when he left Santa Anita, when he left California. So he's leaving California to come here. And he's off a 7-month layoff.
And he only arrived.
And
he only arrived according to his workouts. He's only been here since July 26th. He had a workout in Santa Anita on July 26th. So, he's probably only been here for a week.
This week.
Yeah. So again, I don't know how much that plays into. That's to play something, but a good horse is a good horse. But there's got to be some element of that travel time. And like you said, the only time he lost was when he traveled out of there. So. Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's going to be 6-5 or better for sure. But I would certainly like to take a chance in the 8th race to beat him. Okay, so the 9th race.
Playing this game and starting 9th race.
9th race, Saratoga Derby Invitational, mile and 3/16 on the turf. Got some interesting horses in here, John. A horse that ran in the Derby, Final Gambit, number 3. A couple other horses that have some good background. So. Who do you like here, John? I think this is a tough race with a field of 9 and no scratches. You can go a lot of different ways here.
Many different ways. And these foreign horses, I just don't know. The big favorite, the hot favorite, hot as hell. Third time back this year as a 3-year-old. Doesn't look like he took that step forward as a 3-year-old. I think he just dominated the 2-year-olds in, overseas in Great Britain and Ireland. But now he's, coming in as a 3-year-old, he just didn't, take that next step that you hoped that he would have. So again, he's going to be 6-5, and I think it's an opportunity. He might be better than us here. But
sure.
Final Gambit, if you go back to that video and see Final Gambit, how his last turf race after coming out of the Derby and then that win, then he got stuck behind a wall of horses and he just waited and waited. He couldn't get through. He waited, and then he swung wide, and then when he kicked them 5-6 wide, he was off the picture forever. And then when they show the wire, boom, he comes flying like a flash. And you watch 20, 30 yards past the wire, he's in front of everybody and just galloping away.
Really?
So I got to give him a big shot to get clear and make that big run. But there's not much speed in the race. So that's what it's got to set up for him, similar to like a Sierra Leone and all. But maybe hopefully some of these, foreign horses, but they don't have that, turn of foot speed in these route races. So it could be a dawdling pace, and that would leave Test Score as sitting, second or third, around the track. And he could be, the first jump on all the big closers. So
yeah, I mean,
Final Gamble, Test Score.
Yeah, I agree with exactly everything you said there. I mean, I think we don't know a little bit of, and I try to pronounce this number 2 horse properly. Jubilee is what they said. I guess he's a French horse. I know he's from Ireland, but Jubilee, he has some speed. I mean, he had a big lead the last time out. He was out. I tried to get to the replay. They didn't show the replay of that, but he was out way in front accordingly and held on. So he's probably going to be the speed of anybody in this race. And I think if this jockey, Umberto Rispoli, who certainly is a great jockey and has done a lot of work, obviously, in California, coming over here to race here in Saratoga, I think he's going to think about taking that horse to the lead. I hope somebody else goes with him, and I hope Final Gambit with Pratt, Flavien Prat on him, gets a better run out of it. And I think that would help. Also, Flavien Prat and Brad Cox, they win a lot together. I think, like you said, the second time on turf, well, it's been a while since he was on turf a while ago, but second time on turf at this distance, I think gives Final Gambit a chance to really get a feel for it. The other horse I kind of like is number 6, John, New Century. I think you're getting Irad Ortiz on this horse for Brendan Walsh, who's having a nice meet here in Saratoga. He ran in the Belmont Derby, a Grade 1 race that came in, 5th, but two lengths out from Test Score and World Beater. So he already got beat by 2 horses in this race. But I think with a better trip and with Irad getting back on him, he was on him 2 races back, and again just lost in the American Turf race at Churchill Downs. So I think that's another horse to kind of keep in the mix if you're looking to spread a little bit. They changed on the 9-horse World Beater. I think this horse is a little bit, as far as class-wise, perhaps, although he ran in second in the last race in the Belmont Derby. But they switched from Torres, which was his only mount, to Junior Alvarado. And Junior Alvarado is riding this horse for Riley Mott, obviously, taking over for his father in this horse. And I think that kind of makes it a little interesting, although Riley Mott is 0 for 13 in graded stakes races. But just anytime you get a jockey picking up a mount, I think that's something to pay a little bit of attention to anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned the contenders. I think I'm a little down on New Century. I think he got, more of a perfect stalking trip right there, and he was, 2-1 favorite, and he couldn't win. And 2 of the horses in this race, maybe had a little tougher trips and beat him. So I don't know what really, but Irad Ortiz, how are you going to not, put him in? He's got 30 some wins this meet, so you leave him off at your own peril. I mean, that's tough to do.
That's the best way to say it. Leave him off at your own peril. All right, you want to move on to race 10, the Fillies Test Grade 1, another 7 furlong race. As you mentioned, a tricky distance. They call it a sprint. Not sure it really is a sprint, but they call it a sprint, 7 furlong sprint. Once again, we have a field of 8 in here, and a lot of good horses. Could make a case for a lot of horses here, John. I'm going to let you take the reins and run with this first, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I love the 3-horse here. One of my best bets of the meet. Another Jimmy. I'm going to order another Jimmy. Okay. Yeah. So I think the 3 is one of my best bets of the meet. Look at the turn back. Every time he runs a sprint, he wins. And it's coming off of a route, turn back, route, turn back. Then he really is not a router, but they're using it to set up the sprint. And last time in the Acorn, he ran, lights out behind a runaway Lacara winner. And he beat Scottish Lassie. She beat Scottish Lassie, who just came back to win by 15 lengths in the coaching club last week. And that was a route race. Now turning back to the 7 furlongs, Michael McCarthy's not going to ship unless the horse is, 1,000%. And I just see it setting up. And the 2 favorites, Ragtime, 2 for 2. Don't know how good he is. He just, made him special weight and allowance and coming up from the rail. So who knows from the rail what's going to happen. And
How he's going to
Echo
react to the
Sound,
rail. He did win his first race on the rail, though.
which is 11 horse field to win from at 9-1 is incredible for a first time
Sure,
starter to
first
win from the
time
rail.
out, yep.
That I look for, and you pointed it out. That I look for that because that has extra credence. And then the number 6, everybody's going to be on him. But that was like a 1-figure wonder. I mean, it was a 4-horse race, and he galloped away from him. And it was a 4-horse race, and he said a 101 buyer. He's got to bounce off that, and then you throw that race out. He's just with the rest of them. He's like his figures are less than. You're betting on 1 figure, and he's going to be the favorite. I think it's try to beat. That's why the 7 to 11 sequence. I'm going to try to beat each favorite because there's enough knocks on each one. They all can win. I'm going to use defensively, but if you could beat all of them, no matter if it's a string of $10 winners, you got a nice.
It's going to pay big. Yeah, you're going to get your value back for. And I totally agree with your assessment of the 6 Echo Sound. I mean, Saez has ridden his horse a couple times. I think that buyer speed figure of 101 might be a little bit inflated. I don't disagree with that at all. Quick question about that, John. Does the word or the term bounce come into play for the number 6 Echo Sound, or does that not apply because it was such a small field? I mean, that was his highest buyer speed figure by a lot. Okay. You sure we didn't do this before, John?
It comes into play.
Okay. Well, that just showed for sure it comes into play, John. So I'm going to tell you my pick. I know this is going to be a surprise to you, and it's not because I'm playing golf tomorrow with Phil McGee, but I kind of like this 5, me and Molly McGee. Again, pace makes the race. Peter, you're a good trainer. Dettori's getting back on this horse. I mean, 7 furlongs is a tough distance. This horse has only raced at 6 furlongs and, put up some nice figures at 8 furlongs in terms of his fractions. He's got a 123 early pace speed figure, which is the best in the field. And I put some credence into this myself. Again, I'm not a great person who knows about breeding a lot, but his Tomlinson for this distance is 442. He hasn't tried his distance yet, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I think if he gets out and gets a lonely lead, which from the looks of it, from what I can see, there are no other horses in this race who have put up a 1 in the early stages except the 7 Artisma, which, he put up some decent figures. So I think the 7 and the 5 are probably going to go a little bit together, but I think the 5 has a better shot to at least clear the field and see how long he can hold on.
I agree. He's my pace advantage horse of the race. Plus, the Tomlinson, like you mentioned, is way above everybody else. Like, way above. He is so far above.
So I think that gives him a big chance, John. And I think that's going to be another.
I'm including him because,
another price play. If you're going to look at beating the favorites, let's put a horse in that you like and why you like him for a reason. I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, how about we do the final race of the pick 5, the race 11. This is the Big Daddy, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. The Whitney, 1 1/8 on a fast dirt track. There was a scratch, which was well known before today, that the one was likely to scratch from Todd Pletcher. Mind frame is out, and that puts Skippy Longstocking now on the rail. So, John, what's your thoughts here in this big Whitney race when we're looking at who we think is going to be the winner and what our thoughts are?
I thought it was a 2-horse race to begin with. The 2 favorites, obviously, Sierra Leone closing, with the Ravage in there. Mama's Gold, is going to go. So that'll ensure the fast pace. Fierceness is going to have to attend closer to that pace, maybe than he really wants to, just to stay in touch. So that maybe take a little bit out of him and set it up for Sierra Leone. But the more I look at Asmussen's horse with Rosario Disarm, I think he got past the foot problem. They took that bar shoe off that they had for most of his last couple months. So maybe that foot problem's clear. It could set up and maybe the 5 and the 6 come running together. But it's so tough to get around the 9 and the 5, the 2 favorites. Other than that, the other horses, Skippy Longstocking is just a neat, fun horse who, always shows up. But a grade 2, grade 3 type horse just goes around, picks his spots, and really finds nice spots. Highland Falls, I think I'm over him. I tried him too many times. I don't want to deal with him anymore. Flight of Barrio, I think he just, his wins that looked impressive were just perfect scenario setups. where he was doing good, and he just got away from the field. He's not going to be able to do that today.
Okay.
And post time, which Brittany Russell and Sheldon, her husband, which is Mr. Brittany Russell, 18 for 18, never missed the board, and ran in the Breeders' Cup. So he definitely got the class, but he's just going to be, I'm just cheering for him to come running in, second or third, and maybe something like Sierra Leone, disarm in post time and knock the other favorite out and see what happens. But I'm looking for the race to, come from the back. If it's on the front end and they're turning for home and nobody's closing, I'm dead.
No, I agree. I think you're 100% right that this race is going to come from the back. You have the rabbit in there, as you mentioned, Mama's Gold. I think you make a decent case for Disarm. I think there's a decent case for Post Time, who I kind of like. I mean, Fierceness is likely to be the star of this race. He certainly has got his act together where he used to be a good race, bad race, good race, bad race. He's put 4 very good races together the last 4 times out against some solid competition. His last race out was in the slop. Not that he hated it, but he got bumped to start. That was in the Metropolitan Handicap at Saratoga a couple of weeks ago, or maybe more than a couple of weeks ago. It was in the 4th of July carnival meet they had there. So I'm kind of going to lean on Fierceness, but I'm also going to use some other horses to get to the will pays in this race and look for some solid will pays. I think, you're right about the winner coming from the back. I don't disagree with that at all. And I think if we can get to this leg and have some opportunity to look at some will pays, John, we will be doing well to do that. So,
I agree.
John, any final thoughts?
No, I just focus on those 5 races, and that's where the meat of the card is, and I'm trying to beat favorites. So I think that's where I'm going to put all my eggs. And I'm in a contest today at Monmouth, which is
Okay.
5 Monmouth races, and then unlimited amount of Saratoga races. So I think
Good.
I'm going to just make my show bets at Monmouth just to get the races out of the way, and then go for the score at Saratoga with some of the ones I mentioned.
Okay. Is it a just win, play, show betting for the contest, John?
Win, play, show, exacta daily doubles.
Okay.
That brings my style into play.
I was going to say, knowing once or twice that I did a contest with you, that's your style. So one last note I would like to make is I have a play that after looking at these races, it's in race 13, a mile and 16, maiden special weight. I love this 7-horse, Too Late Baby Doll. He's ran twice at this distance, came in third, came in second. He's switching to Santana, who's been hot at Saratoga, and he's coming out of Churchill Downs, which I think those maiden special weight races there are a little tougher. So if you're looking for a late bet later in the day and you want to get a few extra bucks to go to Ciro's and get a couple more Jimmies, that might be a little spot to put a few bucks on, John. So race 13-7, Too Late Baby Doll. And other than that, John, I know you're ready to dive in. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to come on here. I wish you good luck. I'm sure we'll be in touch and talk a little bit. But again, look forward to seeing you again soon. And again, my pleasure to have you on here, John. Appreciate your insight and taking your time to join me here from Saratoga.
I appreciate you having me on, Fred. A lot of fun, and we'll do it again soon.
Okay, John. Good luck, brother. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, boy, wow, that was awesome having Johnny Costin from Saratoga. Again, one of the top handicappers in the country. We're going to be excited to look at how he makes out in the contest and how he makes out with his picks in Saratoga. Okay, we're going to take the next few minutes to cover our neck of the woods, if you want to use that term, and that would be Gulfstream Park. So we're going to go through the late sequence there at Gulfstream Park, races 7 through 11. The first race in the sequence is a mile and 16th on the synthetic, a field of 9 with no scratches. I'm leaning heavily on the number 4, Mr. Brazil. This horse is certainly being ridden by Reyes, and when Reyes rides on this horse, he does well. He hasn't been on the last couple times. They went with the apprentice Torres, and now he's at the same level he was last time. The second time he dropped out of some heavier, higher stakes races, and now third off the layoff. Ronald Coy hits for 33%, went third off the layoff out of a 9 times in the sample. So I'm leaning on the top pick, number 4, Mr. Brazil, but the other 2 contenders, the number 6, Triumphant Road, and the number 2, Sir Ascot. Both of these horses have a big chance, I think, at a price in this race. The number 6, Triumphant Road, if he gets a clean break and Jose Morales is riding him, this horse is very likely to get to the wire. He was right there in the last race that he was in, which is at this level, claiming 8,000, a mile and 70. Very tight, tried to find some space, could not get to the wire, was right there, but came in 5th, only 2 lengths out. But that was because he didn't have any room to get through horses. So I like that horse a lot as well. And the third horse, which is our second contender, is the number 2, Sir Ascot. Had a really bad post, last time out when he was racing. A tough post to come from. He was in post 12 in a 12-horse field, so that was tough. Getting a much better spot now in the number 2 post, has some speed. Quite frankly, is the lone speed in this race. And if he gets out and no one goes with him, and I really don't see anybody else going with him in this race, I think Ocasio is going to take this horse to the front. If you look at his race 2 back, he put in a nice run to get to the front and stayed there. It was a key race, and he dug in really, really, really strongly at the end to win. So our picks in race 7, top pick number 4, our contenders are the number 6 and the number 2. Okay, let's move on to race 8 at Gulfstream Park. Finally, yay, Gulfstream Park is back on turf, which is great. And again, it's firm, usually it's fast and firm down there. This is a field of 7 where we scratched the 2 and the 9. So those 2 scratches bring this field down to a race. It's a very nice stakes race, 75,000 mile on turf. Again, you could probably make a case for almost any horse in this field. And certainly you wouldn't have a tough time doing that because they're all very good horses. I went with the number 4, Ford Steel, the morning line favorite. 7-5 is the morning line. I guarantee it, not going to be 7-5 when the gates open. Likely more to be 3-5 or 6-5, something in that neighborhood. He's the lone speed. He's raced at this level before. He's actually raced at much higher class races before. The last time out, he raced in the slop at 7 furlongs, didn't run too well. And now, Safi Joseph Jr., because Zayas, I believe, either in Saratoga or is in another track, putting his tack elsewhere for today. Safi Joseph Jr. went to Rael Gutierrez. Super hot. 12 races, 6 wins. Wins at 67% out of 6 tries with Safi Joseph Jr. I think this horse is going to be tough to beat. I think I'm going to use him as a single in my pick 5 sequence, and I suggest you might think about that too. There's another Safi Joseph horse in here. That's the number 5, Culpa. This horse certainly has a chance to get in the money. Not sure he's going to win, but jockey on the number 5 is Vasquez. Good jockey. Horse is coming out of his last win, was a maiden special weight, but it was a good race on turf. Looked impressive. It was a key race. Ran very nicely and split horses to get the win, which as a young horse, not easy to do, and shows a really solid sign of a horse that's strong and not afraid to split horses to get the win. Exactly what that horse did, the number 5, Copa. The other contender we have is the number 7, Iron Hand. This horse is looking for its 5th win in a row. He's 4 for 7 lifetime. His last 4 wins were all on synthetic at Gulfstream Park. He's coming out of allowance races, which certainly give him a little credibility. Hasn't tried turf before. So the only question here for Jose D'Angelo and Edwin Gonzalez, the jockey, is, will this horse take to turf? The breeding Valley Minister out of a Breeze Bev's Honor horse gives him a little credibility with the Tomlinson turf number, but what gives him a lot of credibility is the fact this horse just likes to win, win, win. But again, if he can take the turf, it's very likely that this horse could have a big chance in this race because the turf breeding says yes. Okay, let's go to race 9. It's a field of 11 with the scratch of the 12. And that's interesting because the scratch of the 12 puts my horse, my number 1 pick, and also my speed play of the day, If you've watched our podcast before, you know how valuable our speed plays of the day can be. This is another speed play of the day, and the scratch of the 12, which I thought was the only other speed in the race, the scratch of the 12 puts the number 10 Light Fury in the front with an E8 Brisnet rating, a 109 early pace time form figure, loves Gulfstream Park, loves synthetic. You have the same jockey on him. Edwin Gonzalez is riding him again for hot trainer Carlos David. He's doing a claim repeater. He's going back once again into the $10,000 claiming, which is another 30% angle for the trainer, Carlos David. And I would really love to see this morning line at 4-1 stay anywhere near 4-1 at post time. That's my speed play of the day. And again, I might use that horse as a single and get deep in the next 2 legs to try and give me a chance to get this pick 5. But there are a couple other contenders. The number 7, Anesto, could be a jockey, could be a runner if the jockey Marag gives this horse a better break. His back-to-back 75 buyer speed figures fit well at this level, is claiming $10,000 level. So that horse could be a factor, but I just think the number 10 Light Fury is going to come out, go around the horses, get on the rail, and just take this field home from gate to wire. The other horse, which might be a play for the favorites, is the number 1 Spy Hunter, being ridden by Arisimilio Jaramillo. Jaramillo riding the 1 for the, well, he rode him several times before. They put the Apprentice Tours on him for the last race. He ran an okay race, just kind of ran out of gas at the end. Actually got placed 3rd through disqualification because he had to alter his pace in the stretch, and so he got moved up to 3rd from 4th. So that race, you may put a line through that race, but he's 7-2 morning line, probably going to get some money because Jaramillo's on him, and he got Jose D'Angelo, the trainer who does very well at Gulfstream Park. But again, my speed play of the day, the number 10, our speed plays of the day. If you have watched Let Him Run before our podcast, you know our speed plays of the day do very well. And if you are a new watch our podcast, welcome. And if you're a regular watcher, thank you. But play that horse. Speed play of the day. Okay, let's go to the 10th race, a straight mile, a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream Park on the dirt. It's a field of 7 with the scratch of 1 horse, the number 7 horse Scratch. I don't think that horse was much of a significance in here. But our number 1 horse, our top pick in this race, is a very long shot. Just going to take a shot here. Is a 15-1 shot. Number 6 horse Saratoga Cruiser. Last 5 times had jockey Gill on him. Good jockey. Nothing wrong with him. I think this horse has a little opportunity with some back class racing, some big races before. Jose Morales is getting on him. That's one of the better jockeys down there in Gulfstream Park. Colin Marag is the trainer of this horse. He's a little bit of a sneaky trainer. And again, at 15-1, I don't think this horse should have been a morning line at 15-1. I do my, as you know, I talk about this often. I do my picks. I run through my analysis on Monday or Tuesday. I don't have the odds. I never thought this horse would be 15-1. Again, he hasn't won in a while. He has, like many of the horses in here, has, only 1 win. Some of the other wins are based on the conditions of the race. So some of the horses have 2 or 3 wins. Some have as many as 5, but that's based on the conditions that give them an opportunity to race in this race with the conditions that they're currently showing. So I'm going to take a stab with that horse, the number 6 Saratoga Cruiser. Another contender, if you want to call him contender, is likely to be the favorite, is the number 1 horse, Havildar, being ridden by Jaramillo again on the rail. This horse looks very likely to be the winner. His last race out was on synthetic, did not like synthetic. If you go back to his 4 races back, he's won or came in second at a mile at a little higher level, the same level, and looks to be a horse that at the morning line of 9-5 is very likely to be the favorite. But I wouldn't mind using Saratoga Cruiser with this horse in some exactas if you're looking at that. And another horse that's on our list, which actually is a pretty interesting horse, I think, that could give us a chance here to get another number another price, if you will, and your exact, if you want, is the number 8, Steppy. It's 10-1. This horse is dropping down in class a little bit, has some speed, working out like he's ready for the return. He's got some good early pace figures, third off the layoff. Robert DeBona, a good trainer down there in Gulfstream Park, hits at about 39% when third off the layoff. So that's a big plus. And he's working out like he's ready to return. So, if you want to have another horse that's got a price, I think this race is going to have some prices come home for you. I would definitely consider using the number 8 horse Steppy as well at 10-1 morning line, with the top pick we have 15-1 Saratoga Cruiser. So we're going to take a little stab there with that. Okay, we're going to go to the 11th race, the last race here at Gulfstream Park, 6:22 Eastern Standard. Another turf race. Happy that Gulfstream Park is back to turf again. There's a field of 8 with the scratch of the 9, which wasn't a significant scratch in terms of the picks and the way the race is going to be run out. But I really like the number 7 in this race. It looks to be the one to beat in this race. He is the speed of the speed. Will be involved early. Sigan Biendo, 8-5, being ridden by Reyes, trained again by good trainer Jose D'Angelo. The race 2 back on turf looks really strong here. And I think, that was a maiden claiming $50,000 race. This race is certainly a little bit lower than that, quite a bit lower. That gives him a chance to use his speed and get a chance to get to the front. And if this horse gets to the front, I have a very good feeling the horse will stay there with Reyes aboard, who has not ridden this horse before. Slight little, I guess, stick in the mud, if you want, is this horse has been ridden by 4 different jockeys. This is the 5th new jockey to ride this horse again, which sometimes can be an indication of a horse that's tough to ride. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. The only time he raced on turf, he put up a 66 Beyer speed figure, his best Beyer speed figure. He certainly looks to be the speed of the speed, so there's no question that he will get out with Reyes aboard. The other contenders that we talked about were the number 4 flag officer. Again, getting hot jockey Rael Gutierrez, who's riding down there extremely well in Gulfstream Park at 50%. He got a chance last out to see what's under the hood, and I think that's a big plus for this horse to have a jockey who knows what he's dealing with. And obviously, Rael Gutierrez is riding extremely well down there in Gulfstream Park, so I wouldn't leave that horse out either. And he's also back to the preferred surface, turf, not a synthetic horse, loves the turf. Another horse that's got a big shot, I think, is the number 5, Accelerate Me. Jockey and trainer work together well. Trainer, a little bit unknown, Mark Pansley, hitting at 21% down at Gulfstream Park, puts a lot of horses where they need to, where they have a good chance to win. He's taken over the training for Kent Sweezy. So this horse has got a chance to run a nice race. Last race out, he ran pretty well, had a different jockey on him. This time, first time with Vasquez, which is a plus. And I think that horse at the price of 92 has a chance to fill out some of your exotics. So once again, those are the picks that we have for the late pick 5 down at Gulfstream Park. We did the late pick 5 at Saratoga, where my buddy John Costin was on with us a little while ago. He's up there in Saratoga with another one of our buddies from Hamilton, Kevin Perry. Hope you're having a good time up there as well, Kevin. And look forward to watching the races with you guys today and rooting for you. And we wish you the best of luck. So stay tuned. We're going to continue to do our podcast here, looking to get more guests on. We have some other guests who are possibly going to join us, some agents. We have an agent who possibly will join us. That'll be kind of cool because you're going to get a perspective from, an agent. And I think that's kind of interesting to see how these agents work to get their clients, their jockeys, to get mounts for them. Pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to that coming up soon. And once again, we'd like to thank you for watching our podcast here. Again, my name is Fred York with Let Him Run, and we hope to see you again. Good luck today, wherever you might be betting, whether it's at Saratoga or at Gulfstream Park. And as we always say, let them run.